My report is on Elbert Frank Cox. Cox was born in Evanston, Indiana, to Johnston D. Cox, which was a teacher and real active in church. And his mother was Eugenia Cox. He was born on December the 5th, 1985. He grew up with his parents, his grandmother, and his two brothers. And he lived in a mixed neighborhood. He lived here, and but there was a lot of trouble in his area. In 1903, there was some lynchings and some deaths, but his family decided to stick it out because they were very much involved in education, and they wanted to make sure that their children got the best education possible. He went to a segregated school, which was not the best school, but he did get a decent education. His family was very close knit and highly religious, and his father was a career educator, and eventually he ended up becoming a principal, elementary school principal. Young Elbert, he excelled in mathematics, and he also excelled in physics. He was very good at the violin. After graduating from high school, he enrolled at Indiana University to study mathematics and physics. He was very good at mathematics, specialized in number theory, projection geometry, and advanced calculus. He was very studious, and he impressed a lot of his professors and his peers, but he was still considered black, so he still had a lot of challenges ahead of him. Even though he got excellent grades, he had to fight the racial stereotypes. All 4 of his years here were hard, gruesome years, but in the end, he ended up earning his degree in mathematics in 1917. When he graduated, he graduated with 3 other African Americans in his class, and on his transcript, it was stamped across his transcript, colored. He was involved in a lot of organizations there, where he became officers of certain organizations while he was there. He even joined Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity while he was there. After graduation, he enrolled in the military and served the United States and France during World War One. 2 years after he returned, he began his career as a teacher. His first teaching job was at Shaw University. Shaw University just happens to be my alma mater, so I was very impressed when I saw that he had taught there. Why? He taught there for about 3 years, up until about 1922. But Cox, he was very smart, and he earned a scholarship, and he wanted to go on and get a graduate level degree. Though it was hard because he was black, he was rejected from several universities. He tried at the University of Chicago. He tried at Princeton. He was pretty much blocked from going to any of these places. But he decided he would go to Cornell University, because Cornell University, the founder was Ezra Cornell, and he helped form this so that black people would have an opportunity to go to school. So he decided that he was going to go to Cornell University. Upon reaching Cornell, he had an advisor named William Lloyd Garrison, and they became lifelong friends. After while he was there, he was his advisor, but they kept in contact, and they were friends throughout his whole life. When Williams saw that he was working on his doctorate degree, and he realized that he was going to be the first black to accomplish a PhD, he wanted to make sure that he got his recognition not just in the United States but throughout the world. So when he had to do his dissertation, he wanted him to submit it to universities outside of the United States, but many of the universities rejected him. But he was able to get a university in Japan, and that university was the University of San Diego, the Imperial University of San Diego in Japan, and they accepted his dissertation. So he got his doctorate degree. And he went on, after he got his doctorate degree, he went on to work at West Virginia State College, and he worked there from 1925 to 1929. And when he left there, he went to Howard University. And he taught at Howard University from about, for the rest of his career until he retired in 1965. He held multiple positions at Howard University, and he's also accredited with building their PhD program, even though he was no longer there when they put the PhD program together. They started that program in 1975, and unfortunately, he had already passed away when that happened. But he had many accomplishments at Howard University, becoming department chair, holding the highest positions. Also, his colleagues at Howard would say that the students that took classes under Dr. Cox performed better on their graduate exams than any of the other professors at Howard University. So he was very well known for being a good teacher, actually a great teacher. He wanted to do research, but he never could really find the time to do a lot of research. And he was planning on doing some research after he retired, but his health never permitted him to do that. And he was kind of sickly, and on November the 28th, 1969, he died at the hospital in Washington, D.C. He was a phenomenal professor and extremely popular among his students. His death was a great loss of an excellent teacher and a renowned black mathematician. Some of his colleagues are actually some very well-known people themselves, where Dr. David Blackwell was one of them, and he was quoted as saying, "Year after year, our master's students consistently did much better in departmental oral examinations on material they studied with Dr. Cox than on material they studied with me or from our colleagues Woodward, Claytor, and others." So he was well renowned for doing great work. Also, he put in a grading system at Howard University they still use today. So he was very well known, and he did some great things for Howard University. I think he's a great inspiration for a lot of up and coming mathematicians, and it's always great to look back and see who was the first one to actually do something, and then look back and read on what it is they actually had to do to get it done. And we know that he went through a lot of hardships, a lot of pain, sweat, and a lot of hard work to actually get here. So it's a great accomplishment. It was great for me personally getting to know him through this essay, and I really enjoyed the studying.